The family photo was cut perfectly in half. 10-year-old Emma Wilson kept one piece with her mom on her nightstand, and the other piece with her dad in her backpack. But when Ellen asked how she spent time with her parents, Emma's answer revealed a heartbreaking secret: "I'm trying to get them back together." Emma Wilson, 10, sat in the interview chair with the hopeful energy of a child who believed she could fix anything if she just tried hard enough. Her blonde pigtails bounced as she spoke, and she wore a bright yellow dress that her grandmother had picked out specially for the show. What the audience saw was an adorable little girl discussing family life, but what they didn't understand was that Emma was carrying the crushing weight of responsibility for her parents' happiness. The Ellen DeGeneres Show had invited Emma during their Kids Say the Darndest Things week, featuring children who had unique perspectives on family life. Her teacher had submitted her story after Emma wrote an essay about "My Big Project" that had moved everyone to tears. The essay described a 10-year-old's elaborate plan to reunite her divorced parents, complete with diagrams and a timeline that showed remarkable intelligence and heartbreaking determination. What Ellen's producers didn't fully understand was that Emma wasn't just a cute kid with a funny story about wanting her parents together. She was a child who blamed herself for their divorce, who spent every waking moment plotting ways to fix what she believed she had broken. Emma lived between two houses, 2 bedrooms, 2 sets of rules, and she was convinced that if she could just find the right plan, she could make her family whole again. The divorce had happened 6 months ago, when Emma was 9. David Wilson, a software engineer, and Sarah Wilson, a teacher, had tried to shield Emma from their marital problems, but children see and hear everything. Emma had witnessed the late-night arguments, the tears, the gradual transformation of their home from a place of laughter to a place of tension and silence. "Emma," Ellen began with her characteristic warmth, settling into her chair with genuine interest in this bright-eyed little girl. "Tell us about your family." Emma's face lit up with the excitement of a child who rarely got to talk about the thing that consumed her thoughts. "Well, I have a mom and a dad, but they live in different houses now." Ellen felt the matter-of-fact way Emma delivered this information. "How do you feel about that?" "It's okay," Emma said with the forced optimism that children use to protect adults. "But I think they made a mistake." Ellen sensed there was much more depth to Emma's feelings. "What kind of mistake?" "They forgot how much they love each other," Emma explained with absolute certainty. "Sometimes grown-ups get confused and need kids to help them remember." Ellen felt moved by Emma's innocent interpretation of divorce. "How are you helping them remember?" Emma's eyes grew excited as she launched into her explanation. "I have lots of plans. Last week, I told Mom that Dad wanted to meet her at the coffee shop where they had their first date." Ellen realized Emma was orchestrating elaborate schemes. "What happened?" "They both showed up," Emma said proudly. "They talked for a whole hour. I hid behind a tree and watched them smile at each other." Ellen felt both charmed and concerned by Emma's behavior. "What did they talk about?" "I couldn't hear everything," Emma admitted, "but I saw Mom laugh at Dad's jokes, just like she used to. And Dad looked at her the way he does in our old family pictures." Ellen sensed Emma was misinterpreting her parents' interactions. "How did you feel watching them?" "Happy," Emma said simply. "It was like seeing our real family again, even just for a little while." Ellen realized Emma viewed her parents as temporarily broken rather than permanently separated. "Emma, what other plans do you have?" "Oh, I have a whole notebook," Emma said, reaching into her small purse and pulling out a purple spiral notebook. "Want to see?" Ellen felt both amazed and heartbroken by Emma's level of organization. "Absolutely." Emma opened the notebook to reveal pages of carefully written plans, each with illustrations and detailed timelines. "This page is Operation Christmas Dinner. I'm going to invite them both to Grandma's house and not tell them the other one is coming." Ellen studied the elaborate plan, complete with contingency strategies. "That's very detailed, sweetheart. And this one is Project Valentine's Day," Emma continued, flipping pages. "I'm going to send them cards that look like they're from each other." Ellen felt overwhelmed by the amount of thought and energy. Emma was putting into these schemes. "Emma, how long have you been working on these plans?" "Since the day they told me about the divorce," Emma said matter-of-factly. "That was 8. Ellen was struck by Emma's exact count of the days since her world changed. "You've been counting?" "Every day," Emma confirmed. "I write it in my diary along with what I did to help them that day." Ellen realized Emma was living with this mission as her primary focus. "What kinds of things do you write?" "Like when I leave Mom's favorite flowers where Dad will see them," Emma explained. "Or when I show Dad pictures of our family vacation and tell him how happy Mom looked." Ellen felt the weight of responsibility this child was carrying. "Emma, what do your parents say when you do these things?" "They smile, but it's a sad smile," Emma said, her voice growing quieter. "And sometimes Mom cries after I show her pictures of Dad." Ellen sensed Emma was noticing her parents' pain, but misinterpreting it. "How does that make you feel?" "Like I need to try harder," Emma said with determination. "Maybe my plans aren't good enough yet." Ellen felt heartbroken by Emma's belief that she needed to fix her parents' relationship. "Emma, can I ask you something important?" "Sure," Emma said, trusting Ellen completely. "Do you think your parents' divorce was somehow your fault?" Emma was quiet for a long moment, her small hands fidgeting with her notebook. "Maybe if I had been better." Ellen felt her chest tighten at Emma's admission. "Better how?" "If I hadn't been so loud when they were trying to talk," Emma whispered. "If I had helped more with chores. If I had gotten better grades." Ellen realized Emma was carrying guilt that belonged to no child. "Emma, sweetie, parents don't get divorced because of their children. But they used to fight about me sometimes," Emma said, tears forming in her eyes. "About my bedtime, and my homework, and whether I could have sleepovers." Ellen understood how Emma had misinterpreted normal parental discussions as fights about her. "Those weren't fights about you, honey. Those were just parents making decisions together. But if I had been easier to take care of, maybe they wouldn't have gotten so tired of each other," Emma said, the words tumbling out. Ellen made a decision that felt both necessary and urgent. "Emma, I think your parents need to hear what you just told me." Emma looked panicked. "No. They can't know about my plans. What if they get mad?" "They won't be mad," Ellen assured her. "But they need to understand how you're feeling." Ellen gestured toward the wings. "Emma, your mom and dad are here today." Emma's face went through several emotions: excitement, fear, hope, and panic. "Both of them? Together?" "They came because they love you, and they're concerned about you," Ellen explained gently. David Wilson, 38, and Sarah Wilson, 36, emerged from backstage, looking like two people who had learned to navigate co-parenting while managing their own grief about their failed marriage. When they saw Emma's notebook spread open on the coffee table, their expressions immediately shifted to concern and heartbreak. "Emma," Sarah said, approaching her daughter's chair. "Sweetheart, what is all this?" Emma clutched her notebook protectively. "It's my project to get you and Daddy back together." David knelt beside Emma's chair, his voice gentle but sad. "Baby girl, can you show us what you've been working on?" Emma looked between her parents, clearly torn between hope and fear. "Promise you won't be mad?" "We could never be mad at you for loving us," Sarah said, settling into the chair next to Emma. Ellen felt the tenderness between this fractured family. "Emma was just showing me her notebook of plans to reunite you both." David and Sarah exchanged glances filled with pain and regret. They had thought they were protecting Emma by keeping their conflict private, but instead, they had left her to fill in the blanks with her own imagination and guilt. "Emma," David said softly, "can you tell us about some of your plans?" Emma opened her notebook reluctantly. "Well, there was the coffee shop meeting. And I've been leaving Mom's perfume on your jacket when I visit you, Daddy, so you'll remember how good she smells." Sarah brought her hand to her mouth, realizing why David had seemed confused about the scent on his clothes. "Oh, sweetheart. And I told Daddy that Mom was sad about her car making funny noises, so he would come fix it," Emma continued. "But then you both seemed upset after he left." Ellen watched David and Sarah realize the extent of Emma's manipulation, born from love and desperation. "Emma, how did you feel when your plans didn't work?" "Like I'm not smart enough," Emma said, her voice breaking. Other kids would probably know how to fix their parents better. David was crying now, understanding the burden his daughter had been carrying. "Emma, baby, you don't need to fix us. But our family is broken," Emma said matter-of-factly. "And I'm the only one trying to put it back together." Sarah reached for Emma's hands. "Sweetheart, sometimes when families change, it doesn't mean they're broken. It means they're different." "But different is bad," Emma protested. "Different means I can't have both my parents at the same time anymore." Ellen felt the core of Emma's pain. "Emma, can your parents explain why they made the decision to live in different houses?" David and Sarah looked at each other, realizing they had never properly explained the divorce to Emma beyond the basic facts. They had assumed she was too young to understand, but their silence had left her to create her own explanations. "Emma," Sarah began carefully, "Daddy and I decided to live separately because we were making each other very sad when we lived together. But I could help you be happy," Emma insisted. "I could tell more jokes and be quieter when you're talking." "You already make us happy," David said firmly. "You're the best thing that ever happened to both of us. Our decision to divorce had nothing to do with you." Ellen helped facilitate this crucial conversation. "Emma, what do you think divorce means?" "That parents don't love each other anymore," Emma said. "And that kids have to choose which parent they love more." Sarah felt devastated by Emma's understanding. "Oh, honey, that's not what divorce means at all. It means Mom and Dad realized we're better friends than we are husband and wife," David explained. "And you never ever have to choose between us." Emma looked confused. "But if you're friends, why can't you live together like friends do?" Ellen realized Emma needed a more concrete explanation. Sometimes adults need their own space to be the best versions of themselves. Dr. Patricia Williams, a child psychologist who specialized in divorce and family transitions, joined them on stage. "Emma, what you're feeling is very normal for children whose parents divorce." Emma looked at Dr. Williams with interest. "Other kids feel like this too? Many children blame themselves for their parents' divorce," Dr. Williams explained. "And many try to get their parents back together, just like you have." Emma felt less alone hearing this. "Do their plans work?" "Sometimes parents do get back together," Dr. Williams said honestly. "But not because of their children's plans. If it happens, it's because the adults have worked out their problems together." Ellen asked the question Emma needed answered. "Dr. Williams, what can Emma do with all these feelings?" "Talk about them with her parents," Dr. Williams said, "and understand that her most important job is being a kid, not fixing grown-up problems." Emma looked at her notebook, then at her parents. "So I should stop making plans?" "You should stop making plans to get us back together," Sarah said gently. "But you can always make plans for fun things to do with each of us separately," David added. "And you can make plans for the three of us to do things together sometimes. As a family that looks different but still loves each other." Emma considered this. "Like going to my school play together?" "Exactly like that," David confirmed. "We'll always be your parents, together, even if we're not married anymore." Ellen felt moved by the family's progress in this conversation. "Emma, how does it feel to know you don't have to fix your parents?" "Scary," Emma admitted. "Because if I'm not working on getting them back together, what am I supposed to do?" "Be 10 years old," Ellen said with a smile. "Play with friends, learn new things, have fun." Dr. Williams addressed the parents. "Emma needs reassurance that both of you will remain stable, consistent presences in her life, regardless of your relationship with each other." The episode aired 1 month later, after Emma and her parents had begun family counseling to help navigate their new structure. The response was overwhelming, with thousands of divorced parents reaching out to share their own experiences with children trying to fix their marriages. Emma stopped making plans to reunite her parents and started making plans for activities she enjoyed. She joined the school drama club and discovered she loved performing. Her parents attended her performances together, sitting next to each other as Emma's supporters rather than as a couple. 3 months later, Ellen checked in with the family via video call. Emma looked happier and more relaxed, no longer carrying the weight of her parents' relationship. "How are you doing, Emma?" Ellen asked. "Better," Emma said with a genuine smile. "I'm in the school play, and I have a sleepover this weekend with my best friend." "And how are things with your parents?" "They're really good friends now," Emma said. "And they both come to all my important stuff." Sarah and David, appearing together on the video call, looked more peaceful than they had in months. "Emma's doing much better since she stopped trying to take care of us," Sarah said. "We realized we needed to take better care of her emotional needs during this transition," David added. Dr. Williams, who had continued working with the family, joined the follow-up call. Emma represents thousands of children who feel responsible for their parents' happiness. Her story shows how important honest communication is during family transitions. Ellen kept a photo from that follow-up call. Emma between her parents, all of them smiling genuinely for the first time since the divorce. It reminded her that families can take many forms, and children need permission to be children rather than family fixers. Because Emma learned that love doesn't always mean living together, and that her parents' problems were never hers to solve. That her most important job was being a kid, not a marriage counselor, and that families can be happy and healthy even when they look different than they used to. David and Sarah learned that protecting Emma from the details of their divorce had inadvertently left her to create more painful explanations than the truth. That children need honesty appropriate to their age, and reassurance that they are loved regardless of family structure, and that co-parenting successfully means putting their child's emotional needs above their own discomfort with their former spouse. The notebook of plans was retired, but Emma kept it as a reminder of how much she loved her family. Sometimes the most loving thing children can do for their parents is simply being children, and sometimes the most loving thing parents can do is take responsibility for adult problems so their children don't have to.